okay, you need to tell me what is the coincidence of this happening. So I just went into the hospital. I had a general anesthetic that puts you to sleep, and then I woke up about an hour later, um, feeling like I'm forgotten where I am and can't remember my. And then I'm thinking back to what happened in LA and me waking up in a hospital, almost feeling exactly the same way, and me thinking that that's more of a sign that I was possibly drugged. And then I am sent home, but the hospital didn't want to send me home because they were like, well, you can't just leave. You know, you've had a general anesthetic. You can't just leave. And they said that we can send me an ambulance, but that might be a 4 hour wait. And I kind of called my friend and was trying to see if the guy who looks like the weekend guy was going to come and take me home. And yeah, he did come and visit, and we spent a few hours together. But just before he came, I made a video talking about sort of me thinking or feeling like maybe I was spiked that day, because of the reminding of that. But anyway, after he came for a few hours, we ate and watched a film, and then he left. And then afterwards, I go and watch EastEnders, and it's so weird because I was a few days behind. I'm often a bit behind on EastEnders, but as soon as I come back, I watch EastEnders, and if you I don't know if you saw that, but she basically had been she just found out who her mother is, and she took something and she just collapsed, and basically because of drugs. So she collapsed because of drugs, feeling a bit drowsy, and I'm pretty sure that she just whatever she did just there was pretty much just reenacting what I did that day, that I went to LA. So it was just really, really strange how I was making a video saying that I think I might have actually been drugged, and that was what caused me to not remember the fight nor remember anything of the evening. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just went into the ambulance and fell asleep, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like maybe I was just really tired and had a few drinks. You know, I had 2 drinks, but the first one was really strong, so I think it counts more as 3. But I don't remember finishing the third one. So, but yeah, it's just really weird how I'm how EastEnders seems to reenact things that I talk about or things that I do. I know a similar thing happened when I was feeling really, really sick, and then I looked, and when that girl died, the one that has a young kid, um, I've forgotten her name, the blonde girl that has a kid. I know when I was going through it of just feeling really, really sick, I turned over and was like, oh, stop copying me. And again, it just feels like it's copying me. And the thing is, it can't be EastEnders copying me, because EastEnders would have had no clue that I would have talked about me thinking that I was drugged, and they would have had no clue that I was going to watch this a week later, and for it to happen to for me to see it straight after I make a video about this. And I guess I would have watched EastEnders sooner, but because my friend was here for a few hours, I didn't watch. I don't think he likes EastEnders. But yeah, it's a really weird coincidence how that happens. And also there was 2 episodes that I watched. The first one was they're celebrating Anna's 21st birthday. And yeah, that's kind of been I scroll through Instagram, and I have noticed how David Beckham was celebrating his oldest son's 21st birthday. And I was saying last week that I think David Beckham is the chosen donor of, if I was to have a kid, he would be the chosen donor. That not just me has decided, but I feel like my higher self has decided that. And so I just feel like there's these weird ties that just are, you would see it as a coincidence, but if you knew how many coincidences like this happen, you'd just be like, yeah, this can't just be a coincidence. It's almost like my higher self is telling me that, yeah, maybe I was drugged that day. And I guess the point of doing that would be to actually show dangers and risks of I always go to a club if I know that the person I'm going with is kind of trustworthy. I don't like going into a club thinking that those people might just leave me in the club and not care. And so yeah, but that person that I did go to that place with, I think there was a really big group of us, and they all went into a different club, but I was staying with this guy because I was been talking to him for like an hour or two before we went to this place, and I had trust for him. And then when we went into the club, I don't know what happened. I don't know who started the fight. I don't remember the fight. But I know he told me the next day because I was like, well, "What happened?" And he just said that some guy started a fight and he got involved in it, and or it might have been, I don't know actually what his words. I can't even remember what his words were. But it was something like he got into a fight. It could have just been as simple as that. He got into a fight and they got kicked out. And as I was walking out, I passed out. But I feel like I don't know the answer, but to come on EastEnders and just be like, yeah, that's exactly what happened to me, and then be like, oh, she was actually taking something, although she was taking it out of choice. If I was drugged, I didn't take it out of choice because I wasn't aware um, of um, of it. But anyway, that is Hollywood for you. Um, and but yeah, I've also feeling a bit depressed because I think they've revealed the Big Brother start date, and it happens to be on the 7th of October. And I was saying that I'm more likely to get on that show if it happens to start on a particular feast day. But then again, I'm going to go on the show claiming to be Christ, but I don't really want people to believe me, nor do I want it to look like the show is you know is helping me, and therefore if the show has decided to deliberately put it on, because I guess the Feast of Trumpets starts on the 29th, which is the Friday night or Saturday night, Friday night or Saturday night of the week before. And so for them to hold it back a whole week later, I don't know. It could be that I still am going to get on it, but they just pulled it back a week to make it look like they're not trying to fulfill prophecy, um, but rather they've just chosen that date because it's got nothing to do with prophecy, and maybe I've got nothing to do with fulfilling prophecy. I don't really want Big Brother to support me. I want them to give me a platform that I can promote my religion. I have no idea if they're going to or not. They've given me no indication that they are going to do that. And I am seeing weird signs, things that like this show that seems to be EastEnders. It seems to be playing my life sometimes. Yeah, that doesn't mean that they are working with Big Brother. That doesn't mean that anyone's going to help me. The Angel of Truth did a song Now or Never, and I feel like whether it's now or never, it still could be counted as truth because she sings about how it's one or the other, and that is how I feel. I feel like if I don't get onto Big Brother this year, then I think it's a sign that I'm never going to get onto Big Brother. But then again, maybe that is the plan, and maybe me thinking that it's going to happen is just giving me false hope of some things. I just don't know what to make of it. I know I'm feeling depressed because I'm feeling very depressed at the thoughts that that show might come on and off, and I'm not going to get on it. Hence, I'm going to hate anyone that's involved in that show, and I'm probably going to hate ITV and just everyone. I think the reality of the situation is that even if I don't get on that show, I've still decided that I'm going to cut myself off from society because I don't want anything to do with it. I feel like whatever's happening to me is spiritual and magical, and it's not something that I'm controlling, but something that God is doing. But at the same time, because it's God that's making those decisions, not me. Anything that I want might not happen because I don't think she's ever listening to me. If I never wanted to be ignored, not even for a day. So, whatever's happened to me every single day for the last 10 years, it's not of my choice. And likewise, getting on a show like this is not of my choice. And likewise, putting this show on, knowing that I want to get on it so badly is again not really my choice. I'm seeing other weird coincidences, which is that Ryland's mum ended up in hospital too. Ryland, I see, is kind of like the face, or was the face of Big Brother, and his mum is called Linda, just like my mum's called Linda. So there's some weird connections there, and she ended up in hospital at the same time I was in hospital, trying to get this cyst cut out my back. But I don't know. I hope she's okay. I know it's not good to fall, especially if you're in your older ages. But yes, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what this means, and I don't know. I just see weird things all the time, and I just don't know what to make of it. And Diddy's coming up with a Love Off the Grid album, the Love album Off the Grid on the 15th of September, which is the Feast of Trumpets. But then again, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get on to Big Brother, so it's not like he's saying that or anything. It'd be better if he was saying that, because then I'd be like, yeah, something's going to happen. But because Big Brother's not actually on that day, or starting on that day, and it's like a whole month later, you know, the the seventh happens to be like the eighth or ninth day of the Feast of Tabernacles. But yeah, I don't know. I was saying though that I think I should reveal that I think I'm Christ, or I think that I was Aaliyah, risen from the dead. I think I should do that on Halloween. Halloween's supposed to be about rising the dead, and so if I start telling people that I was her on that day, I think that sounds pretty cool. And if it starts on the 7th, that gives me 3 weeks to hide this information, just to see how people feel about me if I'm not talking about me being Christ. Yeah, I think a lot of people be in favor of me if I'm not talking about me being Christ, but I feel like as soon as I start telling people that, there's going to be a lot of people that turn against me and say it's impossible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't care about the biblical dates or the start. I just want it to start, basically. I don't care when. I just want it to start as soon as possible. But I don't know. I feel like because it's not on a biblical feast date. I feel like I have slightly less hope that it is going to happen, which is not a good feeling. But time will tell.